Hey, what's happening, everybody? Looks like my mic has a little feedback. You guys hear me okay? What's up, Poochie? How you doing? Alright, let's bring my monitor here a little bit closer. Alright, so sorry for the late start here. Try to get this project situated, get ready to rock here. So yeah, this is basically, anyone who hasn't been on my last stream, this is a little environment concept I've been working on. Just trying to build it up with some base blockout shapes for now. Try to find out where things should go, and then throw it over to Maya and get it ready to send off to the game engine. So yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. I think I want to do is probably duplicate these. Combine them. Delete history. Keys combined. Send those over to ZBrush. So help me visualize them. What's going on, Kyle? So I got this one net in the middle here. And these little sidebars are kind of serve as like sort of like meters that kind of show how far you have to go until you reach the end of the set, the end of the point. So that'll be the only mechanical structure. I'm gonna replace these nets with more of like a tennis style volleyball net, kind of a woven net. Looks like I started splitting off this buildings a little bit. It's just picking up from my last stream where I started editing out some of these blocks. What's up, Gary? How you doing? Welcome back. Symmetry. I understand. It's going right. It's going right. It's very strange. I'm doing alright. Just trying to get some more environment stuff done. Regulars add. I didn't know we did that. Welcome to the regulars. An esteemed group, no doubt. Wall to be a little more curved. Let's make it a little thicker. Multiple with that interactive elevation lets me pop that off the surface a little bit. Yeah, making a bit of progress. It would serve me to do a little bit more 2D concept painting over it so I can get an idea of like a lot of the more structural definition things, but you know, it's always good to find this stuff out. Try a few things in 3D. The trick is to be able to, you know, combine 2D and 3D in such a way that you're not costing yourself time. Because 3D can be time consuming if you don't know what you're trying to make, but could also inform a lot of what you're trying to make, because when you're making something in 3D you have to start thinking about how it actually works kind of from all angles. But a lot of times you can work this stuff out faster on paper, so it's kind of a give and take. Yeah, it's basically an environment blockout for a level of ours. We're making a sports game called Disc Jam, and this is one of the courts. So this is kind of so it's all pretty, you know, large scale, obviously still, because that's basically, you know, as you can tell, those are tables, and that's kind of a, you know, so the, you know, it's maybe like 100-yard or so, maybe like an 80-yard, roughly speaking, play space for the characters. So yeah, right now basically I just want to like build a support architecture, and if you check out the landscape, which I leave masked for the most part because it affects all my transforms when I have it showing in the world, but you know, you can kind of envision what we're kind of going for here, and these are all textures will build up over time. Like this will be like a rock jetty, and this will be like kind of a stone, you know, monument slash flag thing. This is like a little plant pit, not pit, but like, you know, just a little set dressing for like a little planter on the side there, and then there's like a breakwater there, you know, and presumably like they would kind of be like a peninsula almost, so it'll kind of taper off to the right. That way we're not left with all this space that's either dead or needed to be modeled, which in a video game environment it's not going to be on camera all that much, so it just, you know, fades off to the horizon and you just kind of see the sort of coastline turn in. That's probably what we're going to end up doing there. Ludin is, what's up? Welcome back. This will be like a little boardwalk, right? I dropped that landscape, it's too much. Yeah, it's basically previs, exactly. It's exactly what it is. So right now it's just previs, which is, like I said before, it's kind of how you start answering a lot of your questions and really figuring out what's going to work and what's not. Yeah, it's basically just for scale. Yeah, throw that guy back there and make sure everything's the right size. You know, with that, and that dude's one of like, he's like 6'2", so he's big, but you know, he's kind of representative of where things are. So if I can take a look at him and see that, okay, like, you know, would 4 of him fit that table? It'd be a tight squeeze, but I mean, the tables are roughly, you know, the right size. Just kind of a, you know, and like, does that, now looking at that railing, it seems like the railing's a bit low actually. It seems like, a railing at below waist height doesn't make much sense. So just having that guy there helps me realize that okay, I gotta do some work on this railing here first. Try to remesh. See it a bit better. Auto groups and merge similar groups. Oh, they're all the same size rather. Let's do this. Split that fence off. Have these auto groups. These. That works. Merge down. There. That looks better. Yeah, Gary, don't worry about it. I'll sort that out. I mean, basically, what I want to do is, if they start at the railing, right? Like, I mean, as long as you have one thing will follow from the other. We'll sort it out. Oh, that's weird. How tall are railings? Usually they're probably like a little bit above abdomen height, right? So you can lean against them. So probably like below the chest a little bit. Like lower ones are kind of above the hip. I'm gonna say like, I'm trying to picture like a. Let's see. Got an idea here. Yeah, Gary, that's called a remesh, and yeah, it's super helpful. If I tap that, you'll see that like they automatically spread out the right distance. And I set this up on my last stream. It's a tool that I trying to get into more and more. It's just the instancing. It can be finicky, but if you start to tame it a little bit, it just speeds things up so much and allows you to work. Because again, especially with environments where you get like if you're doing a video game environment, which I am, like, and I guess most environments in general, you have a lot of repetition, and so modeling things once and spreading them out over a spline or doing what you got to do to kind of break it up is usually what you want to be doing. Yeah, so this is about the right size, right? Just looking at some images of balconies. You know, I assume that woman's not 6'2", and even leaning over with a little knee bend. You know, it's probably around stomach height if she was standing straight up and down. And this character is pretty tall. Seems to work. Gary, I think actually Thomas mentioned that his music got flagged in the last stream. It's always tricky to get music that isn't obnoxious to listen to and is royalty free. So I think he got flagged for the music in his last stream. It might not. So like what that means is on Twitch you can't export to YouTube. Unfortunately. Why is my... It's fine, I just eyeball this for now. Probably when I drop it into Maya, if I even need to, I'll line those up perfectly, but I think eyeballing it works great for the time being. And I got my fence, and I have an idea what these are going to be. There's going to be these little there's a circular logo that we use in the game a lot, and this is like a country club that would be brandishing that logo on things like this. So that's what that's going to be for, just in case it's unclear, which I can totally understand it being unclear at this stage. I think I'm just going to move these up a bit. Yeah, it does. It's happened a few times. It's tough because, you know, we're always having conversations about like what channels are people using, and I recently got sick of my channel. I was listening to the same channel for pretty much all my stream, and started hearing too many repeats, and I just had it with that channel. So I'm trying a new one today. Let me know if you guys like it, don't like it. Definitely not married to it. Really just did that so that I could select it. Get rid of it. And just these faces. Little weld that I like to do. Just ooh, not too much weld distance. So as you can see, those are all welded up nice and tight. Will there be glass in between the railing? No, so it's kind of like a windbreaker almost. So the way it basically is like it's just a regular railing, then it has like these little, and I think I might make them wobble a little bit. But they're kind of like just sort of like circular windbreakers that mark the branding of the country club, so to speak. Actually bring up, I think I also have some concept here. So we check out this thumbnail. It's a really, really rough thumbnail. That'll kind of give you an idea of what I'm thinking there. These are kind of just like cabanas along the right. It's against the hillside in the back. And then it's just like, you know, a little dining room area, like a viewing area, and there's like, you know, the clubhouse and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm looking to do here. Like I said, I'll just be building it up, you know, piece by piece. Single edge loop. Can I chop something up? Can you not insert edge loops on flat planes? Yeah, that's weird. It's just been fighting with the geometry below it. Yeah, casual Kev, it's basically, hey Tony Crow, what's going on? Welcome. Are those beach umbrellas? Yeah, basically like the little scattered stuff is you know, lawn, chairs, umbrellas, beach balls, boogie boards, surfboards, just you know, scattered props that kind of dress things. I think I actually made a sketch. I keep my sketches pretty rough, as you can tell. I don't have much need to go farther than this because, you know, being the concept, the 2D and 3D modeler, I mean, like, once I kind of have an idea, okay, I think that's gonna work, and the layout, the balance makes sense. Once I got an idea that all those things are there, I kind of just move forward and start getting into the modeling, because, you know, you know, basically all I need to communicate I already have. If I had a question about, you know, and I do kind of have a question, like, what are these cabanas going to look like? But I think what I'll end up doing is I'll split out and do a separate concept. I'll sit down, I'll sketch out some door frames, and some with open, some with closed, and I'll try to just mix those up, make them kind of modular environment pieces, and then slot them in all up and down the cabana line there. And then, you know, it would hopefully just, the thing I'm struggling with actually is like what makes sense for the kind of buildings to end, and like where does this property end and spin into sort of the nature that the coastline is going to be. So that area in the back, I would probably spend a little bit more time sketching or painting just to like get an idea of it. But, you know, as you can tell, like the landscape is going to look a lot like this, where just the jetty kind of comes in, and you know, you have some beach stuff in the background there, and that's kind of how it would look there. Casual Kev. You know what? I'm not sure. I'm sure. I think ZBrush Core does have the key modeling stuff, but just double check. ZBrush Core. That's just a Z modeler brush. Z modeler brush does all this. And again, like you can do this stuff in Maya, Max, or whatever DCC you choose. But I do a lot of just like a lot of my low poly I do in ZBrush because I like the Z modeler so much that you know, I'll jump back and forth. Like as you can see, I have Maya right here. And I'll just come in and out of each, and I'll use my mouse in Maya, and maybe like I'll come over here to Maya and I'll clean up this. You know, that's a lot of stuff to have to do with the stylus. You know, a lot of geometry to connect and a lot of stuff to do. But as I showed a minute ago, you can definitely do all that stuff in ZBrush. And I just like to try to be as fast as I can. So I'll do both a little bit. You know. I just find like when I'm in this concept stage, I'm just doing 3D sketching. I just like using Z modeler, just pull out and swing stuff in and out is you know, pretty fast, and that's what I kind of am after. ZBrush Core Z modeler. Let's see if Z modeler does exist. Looks like it does. Yeah, you look at some of the hard surface stuff that these guys build. Daniel Bystead is been doing really cool stuff in ZBrush for a really long time. Yeah, that's a pretty solid hard surface piece right there out of Joseph. So yeah, I do believe ZBrush Core is trying to verify for you. ZBrush Core has model brush. Yeah, I'm not sure actually. Gary, there's this GoZ functionality which has been around for a while, but it's super helpful because, like, you know, okay, so I've updated this building a little bit. I've closed that hole on the other side. So why don't I send this over to Maya, right? Hit GoZ, and it's essentially a live link. I mean, it's usually it works a lot faster, but I think it slows down during my stream. Usually it's just boom, 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 back and forth. It slows down the more subtools you have in your scene, actually. Yeah, so then it has all of my changes. Remove that pipe from the middle because I have the fence now. And then while I'm here, why don't I just demonstrate this? I have to think a little bit about how I'm going to close that actually. So those meshes aren't closed in the middle there. What are they? What? Is that automatically weld those? These are the ones that are not welded. There. Thought so. That's surprising they didn't. They must be creased. Anyway. verts. Merge all those verts down. You did that, you added some extra lines to stay symmetrical, right? I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, this isn't a symmetrical mesh. Just curious as how it's possible there's one vertex there. Back into ZBrush. Hit go Z again, also back into ZBrush. Alright. Sure, you know, there's something strange about those verts there. Despite the fact there's an edge. I'll eyeball this as well, because usually it's all I need to do before I can just weld it closed and be done with it. Geometry, weld points. How do we do? There we go. Gravy. Yeah, so I mean, like in this stage, I can be pretty sloppy. This isn't gonna be the final model, so just eyeballing it and welding them closed saves a lot of time, and you know, keeps me moving. Oof, my back. You mean creases? With a C? Why is it you don't add just one single plane on the side? Keep the line further down the side plane. I'm not sure what you mean. It's important that these are, you know, centered. Like all of these lines here split the mesh in that way. Sure what this edge loop's actually doing. That edge loop probably unnecessary. Looks like it is. Oh, must have been added for the purposes of that wall I had done there. the long and short of it though is like I want to keep as little geo as possible in this stage, while at the same time keep as little minimal geo as possible, while still being able to retain the shape you want. So like add as many polygons as you want. Be sloppy when you're trying to get, when you need to get a certain shape, but you're working towards the shape you need. So that kind of informs what polygon or which of these spans exist. Like this span is no longer needed. These are all just places where I added geo to split it off and then become these other things. So you don't really need to at this stage. It's just filling in space, so you don't really need to obsess over what's going to be what. I think also a big reason that this looks the way it does is because I think it's how I broke this up into elevating the ceiling. So like, I'll do this on the next mesh, but like beveling that face right there is what gave me a nice little rail to work on to like bubble up the ceiling. So I'll do an example here with this one. So that's why those lines are symmetrical there. Multiple. Seems like a decent size. I bevel that center one. It's like a little offset edge loop operation. I believe what you do is I did this on my several streams ago. I did this. It took me a minute, so give me a sec here. Yeah, that's your point. That's your point. That's your point. Do some collapsing on the edge loops here. Now, this is a nice little spine that I can pull up, and then boom, we got a little roof there. And, matches the style of the other roof. This one probably pulled up a little too high. So that's kind of why, those lines exist. Yeah, so that's why. A lot of this, when you're doing this low poly stuff, a lot of times just like getting geo, you do whatever you can to get geo to help you build a shape, basically, is the kind of mindset you want to be in. I don't mind if those geos don't line up right now, it's just not important yet. like the idea of putting them, like, building them into a wall like that, and like building them into the hill. Having a bunch of little sort of buildings. Something cool like that. That guy's one sec.
Systems reset, I'm left with a blank screen. Press and escape. I do my best to stay on track, though I keep on drifting. How could we start again? Running from our innocence, shifting from end to end, spinning on our false pretend. Who will you call a friend when you fall away from them? Entropy, consequent, systematic, ignorant. And what can we say? I try to hold on to memories, but they're vaporizing. I'm lost in the fray. Try to hear me call your name, but the noise is hypnotizing.
Now, let's see if we can insert Nanomesh on these by polygroup. There we go. Now we have nice, well-spaced. Let's select what we want for that Nanomesh brush to be. It's a polysphere. Let's do polycylinder, cylinder 3D rather. Down a Nanomesh. Turn off this rotation. Be right back, guys. ZBrush crashed on me, so let's try this again. The latest one is not very recent, unfortunately. That's what I have to do. Lost everything I did trying to make those stakes. To be honest, I think I'll move on from the environment stuff for now. Let's do some sculpting. Inset region. Puts a nice little. Yeah, I'm basically just I'll shade these that same color green I had the other one. A little less. I want to inflate them, but it seems as though yeah, I mean I use both. Like I was saying earlier, you know, there's strengths and weaknesses to each. Right now, when I'm just like filling out spaces, I actually think I'm a bit faster in ZBrush, just like, you know, building some of the rest topology and blocking stuff out. That being said, though, I try to like keep in mind when to go back and forth. Or when you just break your links and you lose all your color material information. Yeah, I believe Gozi works with Blender. I don't actually use Blender, but Gozi is the ZBrush little tool there, and it's really useful. I've only really used it with Maya, but you can set up which one you want, and Blender's on that list, I believe. Preferences, Gozi. Oh, it looks like no, actually. Sculptress, Photoshop, Maya, 3ds Max, Cinema 4D. So I don't believe it does Blender, unfortunately. But yeah, it is nice just to go back and forth. There's goes the blender. Let's get to the bottom of this right now. Yeah, no, it's not officially supported, guys. It's not the same API. Like, certainly, like OBJ, FBX, all those types of things are standardized, of course. But if you look in the script itself, like GoZ has a Maya's command in here. Where is this thing? See, there's like a Maya script there. As you see, go ZBrush from Maya. It does some things that are going to be platform specific. So, but yeah, it's just, you know, it's not that you can't just. I mean, they all kind of just do OBJ, FBX. The main thing I find that GoZ does well is that, like, you can, you know, you can work at different scale. You can work at different, like, you can work at a tenth scale versus full size, things like that. That ends up being pretty helpful and useful. Save this project actually. Do a little sculpting now. Tired of doing environment stuff. Kevin, I don't really have a website, to be honest. We have, I do a lot of our, anything that I produce, I'm producing for our game, so it usually just goes to, like, our social media accounts for Disc Jam. Let's see if I can pull that up here. Game, Instagram. Where's our Instagram? Sorry. This game. I put a lot of models and stuff on our Instagram. It's pretty new, I just started it, but I'll be trying to update that as much as I can. Yeah, I don't really do a lot of public profile stuff. Just trying to we're just trying to ship this game, so I think we'll be doing more art dumps and stuff as we have, like, you know, marketing beats to go off of. Cool, thanks for the follow. Alright, now let's do a little bit of sculpting here. Just work on his helmet for a while. I'm gonna bring this image in here, send it over to Spotlight. Spotlight's a good little tool. Texture. Add a spotlight, here it is, okay. Scale it down, throw it in the corner. Turn the opacity. There we go. I'm doing retopology in ZBrush. I finished drawing on my quads. What's the button except for generation mesh? You just tap it. So like Hot Tater, if you're doing, I got my topology brush right here, right? So draw some topology out. Got all your quads there. Happy with the geo. You just give it a tap. There you go. And I think the amount of geo created when you tap is, yeah, it's proportional to the draw size of your brush. So you get some geo right there, just like that. Hopefully that's helpful. Not a bad little design there. If you use edit topology, meaning down here in the, if you use it, you're talking about like if you use the Z sphere and you draw it out. I see what you're saying. You go, I'll just do it in demo real quick. But what you want to do is there's a little sub menu, so let's append a Z sphere. Go down to it. Turn on solo. So you're doing topology here, edit topology, and I'll just be right. You're drawing on these. Right. So you have that polygon strip. It's going to be here in adaptive or unified skin. Um, Adaptive skin will let you have things like density settings, Dynamesh resolution. If you go from 0 to 0, it'll just do your, every vert gets its thing. But if you do it as a Dynamesh, it'll kind of make itself into its own thing there. I think, does unified skin also do that? Let me see. I don't know if unified skin. Yeah, I don't think that does that anymore. They changed these up for this last release. They're slightly different now. The algorithms have changed. I think adaptive skin is the one you want to use though. Yeah, thickness button is how you control how much weight you want to have on it. So if you did want to go Dynamesh, give it a little resolution, some density, you'll get nice Dynamesh. But if you want to stick with the old style, you can get subdivisions with that density slider, controls how many subdivisions you get. The resolution is basically, do you want a Dynamesh or not? 0 is not, and then it just does the straight up geo that you made. You turn in the density, there's like the actual panels you put down. So those are all the ways to do it. Make adaptive skin, it'll create a skin, and then you can just append it to what you're doing. So let me know if you have any more questions on that, but that's how you do that. Let me delete this Z-sphere. Just want to go back to this dude's helmet. Oh yeah, brush. Samples, turn off spotlight projection. So this is about 300,000. That's a good amount of geo here. So I'm just gonna play with this a little bit. Map cap gray. Not for modeling. Like that was just for like. Usually, when I'm modeling, I'll use a matte cap gray like this. But this project left over from the end of my last stream when I gave it all a quick color and then did a render. And that, that's obviously I'll edit the shadows and stuff out. But like, that's just basically I want to throw some colors down for the purposes of a render. That's all. But when I'm working, I'll work with a matte cap gray for the most part. I like this one a little bit. It kind of just depends on what I'm doing. Matte cap gray usually. I like the information. A lot of people hate this red wax, but I feel like it just provides a lot of visual information. Like if you look at the two ranges, the matte cap red's not great to see, but anyway. Bring this part down a little bit more. Is doing Z remesh and cleanup on a shirt a valid way of doing things? Yeah, definitely. There's a few ways you can go about it. Like, you can stay low poly and try to do the whole thing, just like building it out with a block. But I think actually with clothes specifically, it makes a lot of sense just to be like super fluid and loose, like with a Dynamesh. And then just, as you say, coming in with a, like if this were a shirt, you know, let me just duplicate this off and do a little quick example. Right, so like, let me just chop this up a little bit, say it's a shirt, smooth, stronger, here, right. Yeah, it's falling out as such. Right, so say this is sure some kind of like, you know, you have it in here and you're, I think like just getting all of your shapes correct and then like starting to build up your folds. So you start maybe like you have like a little, you know, you break up the symmetry here and you start having your folds come across and sweep back and forth here. And you know, you just do like, get like the concept of the folds that you want to nail for the shirt. Like get that figured out when you don't have to worry about geometry. Like, get that figured out when you're just like, you know, and this is obviously pretty hacky, but you know, you kind of get the idea where it's like you start finding your folds and your seams. And then, you know, you get like the look you want, you know, not as ugly as that, of course. And then you get a nice low resolution Z remesher of that. And then that gets you 95% of the way there. That'll give you plenty of workable polygons to sort of fit the shape you need. And then you can come back through and like, you know, move verts around, slide them out so they kind of would fit the folds. Anything that gets lost in the Z remesh, it'll be nice and tidy for you when you come in and have the thing underneath there. That's actually one of the better workflows. I mean, a lot of times you can even just forget Z remesh, you go in there and retopologize it by hand, but I like to use Z remesh because it gets you there. It gets you so close, you know. So like if you can get a good Z remesh result, and you know, be sure to play with like target polygon size. Maybe you want to do some Z remesher guides and give it, you know, proper guide topology. But yeah, here's like 860 active points. It captures the folds okay. You know, if that's too high poly, I can take it down even further. You know, maybe even do this, do a half on that, Z remesh again for half. And now it's down to 400 points, maybe even one more. One more might be too much. But yeah, see, it starts to fall apart. But even for a weird shape like that, you know, this is a pretty good starting point. These got these weird poles back here, so I could come back in here and clean these out. These are things that you can just go back and forth, do it by hand, do it by Z remesh, and it's just like a matter of leveraging the tool so it does the thing you want to do. And then this will project just fine because it has enough, even has weird topology flow. It might not deform okay, but you can project the previous mesh pretty easily onto it. So definitely a valid workflow, one that's very often used. When to go like do things manually by hand versus that is always turn off my phone there. Sorry guys. Anyway. Hmm. Doing it is your doing cruising your technique really for time your ideas every game. Yeah, exactly. Like you can not worry about UVs and all that. Hold on one sec, guys. I'm gonna grab my dog. Hold on. Hey guys, sorry. Yeah, Pred, it's getting towards the. I'm not getting. I got about 50 minutes left, but 12 to 3, noon to 3 is typically what I usually do. Answer some questions over here with these web pages. Let's track where my reference was. Oh, don't crash on me. Oh, I just crashed. It's my second crash today. I don't know what's going on. man. The hell is this? Okay, got to there.
When the waves come crashing in, but you can't feel the water. When the light shines again and again, but you can't feel the heat on your face. I know the words can hurt, but you can't let it get inside. And I know what they're saying's not true. Just believe me when I say you're worth it to me. You shine right through and make life feel like a dream. Yeah, you're worth it to me. Oh, you shine right through.
Let's try this one more time. Here we go.
When you've reached the point where you can't go on, just come to me, you'll be safe from harm. If you trust in me, then I'll trust in you. There's nothing more that I need to do. If you put your hands in front of mine, we'll be shining through one at a time. Just understand you're not alone. And if you want, you can always come home. 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 You can always come home.
texture back. Send that over to Spotlight. Brush samples, turn on spotlight protection. Try to do a little bit bulkier of a helmet. I don't like it though. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for stopping by. I'm every I was out of town last Thursday, but I'm every Thursday afternoon, 12 to 3 PST. Usually just working on video game sculpts. Hey, what's going on, Spectre? This is a Cintiq 27, I think is the number. It's new. It's kind of like too big for me, but I'm still getting the hang of it. Can't spin it around the way I'm used to spinning around the other one. Yeah, it's this one. I think it's this one. It looks like a different one. Is the new Pro one? No, this one's it. Yeah, this is the one. It's heavy. It's big. And I gotta stand for it. Yeah, it doesn't really swing around all that easily. Yeah, I'm curious because I actually am looking at the Cintiq Pro. I've played with one. I like how light it is. It's so light, but working in 4K, I tried it out on my laptop, and I don't know. I feel like whenever you mess with Windows native resolution settings, I just find that something's gonna go a little wonky. Like I just don't think that Windows does the DPI scaling, with all of its other programs all that well. So that's what I'm kind of concerned about. Like just working on native resolution seems to be a lot better for me. DPI scaling on Windows 10 is perfect. I'm on Windows 7 still. My laptop's on Windows 10, and I'm still annoyed by too many things to switch my main workstation over to Windows 10. There's too many weird little unnecessary things shoved down my throat on Windows 10 that I'm not happy about. That's good to hear, though, that it handles the DPI stuff with 4K, because it is definitely a feature. I mean, it's something that to consider, for sure. Uh, 4K res, a little hard on the eyes. Yeah. That makes sense. Just like overall, or in certain applications? Just like in general, or is it like works okay here, doesn't work so great there? When I tried it with Photoshop and ZBrush on my laptop, I didn't hate it. I kind of think I felt the same way as you did. I just thought I was like, is this kind of how I want to view everything on my OS? Transpose line out. Haven't used the transpose line in a long time. Third brush is airbrush. Can I have a shortcut for layer? Frustrating. Brush layer. Chisel brush is better for this as well. I don't have geometry to start doing those kind of details just yet. Yeah, if anybody oh yeah, it looks like you guys have been chatting up here. Let me catch up a little bit. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, ZBrush is forget to export the eye, the center axis, and if possible rotate in UE4. Yeah, well, did you skeletal mesh rig it, or are you talking about static meshes interpreter. Yeah, it takes a while, Spectre, to kind of ramp up to all the different things it can do. I've been using ZBrush for like a decade now, and there's still a lot of things that I don't know. Like Joseph Drust and Paul Gabori, the Pixelogic employees who put out like the Did You Know stuff, they are really good to watch because they will show you things that are a lot of techniques that are non-obvious and really, really useful. Check out their Z Summit presentation too because it was really informative. Found out a few things that I didn't know were possible, and I'm always digging for like, oh, there's a workflow I wasn't familiar with, blah blah blah. And yeah, Z Classroom for sure. Definitely gotta check that out. And, you know, changing mesh pivots in UE4 is not really necessary because if you're messing with your pivot in UE4 with a static mesh, it means you're probably setting up something incorrectly. Yeah, it sounds like you're not using bones. Maybe you are, I'm misunderstanding, but if you have bones, then yeah. And Michael Pavlovich YouTube is excellent. He's also has a stream here on the Pixelogic Twitch channel, and it's you know, he's the first instructor I ever came across when I started learning ZBrush, and he taught me pretty much everything I know for the most part getting started. Concept of blocking phase is tricky. You know, I struggle with it even still. Like you can tell from the first half of the stream, I was working on some environment stuff, and yeah, it just, you know, it is tricky for sure. So don't get discouraged. Just keep hammering at it, and you know, before long, it'll be a little bit like second nature to you. Oops. What the hell have I just done? Move that to there. Alt, tap that. No, there's no skeletal rigs in ZBrush. So yeah, like you're gonna have trouble. Like what I would recommend, you can do what you're talking about with in terms of like setting up pivots the way you want to set them. The way you would have to do it though would be to like stitch the mesh together in Unreal Engine 4 as a blueprint. So you would like send over the one mesh that had its origin. I mean, like you can put the pivots anywhere, but if you export them all together, then they're going to I can't imagine you wanting to have like an eye and a face and like animation and not be able to do it with bones. The way you would do it without bones, if you had like a fish or something, you would like do like, you know, vertex offsets and like painting textures that like told the verts where to go. That's a pretty complicated workflow though. I think your main bet is going to be learn how to skeletal mesh it. Maybe try in Blender. Blender's a free app, but if you want to stick to static meshes for now, you can export all 3 meshes, left eye, right eye, and the body. Export all 3 separately, and then set the pivots on the eyeballs inside the eyeball. And then in Blueprint, rotate the mesh eyes on your own, and that would have the correct pivot. No, Pred, you cannot make bones and skeletons. They do use Z-spheres to like artificially rig the geo in ZBrush. That certainly you can do, but that's not going to export to game engines the way he's talking. Yeah, I mean, I tried to learn Blender. Actually, I never really dug into it. I just kind of always made having a Maya install a priority. It just, I couldn't. I mean, it's tough enough to learn. I would like to learn 3ds Max just because I see a lot of really good workflows in 3ds Max. I just, I know Maya well enough to just not want to take the time to just dig into something new. I mean, he's got the time for that. Probably gonna need a little more geo here. I think this geo is finally a little bit too volatile at this point. No, I mean, Pred, there is a reason to know. I mean, like, you know, there's things that only until they all are backwards compatible and do identical procedures. I mean, there's workflows in Macs that are unique to Macs, and you know, I mean, like, it's valuable to, you know, be. I mean, like, again, like, I agree with you that, like, you know, is it worth like digging in and learning the whole application? And you know, yeah, probably not. You know, I mean, like, that'd be. But like there's a lot of value to things like, oh, like this Max. I mean, like, if I was in Max, I would desperately want to know how Maya handles skinning, because I know just the skinning workflows in each. I mean, Maya is far superior. So it's like there's just things that. And there's a lot of the block modeling stuff that Maya's catching up with, but Max currently does better. You know, you mentioned Modo. You know, there's a lot of options out there for things and just workflows that they do things differently, and depending on what you're trying to achieve, it might be easier one place than versus another. So I mean, you know, yeah, like, am I gonna spend time digging in? No, but I mean, there is value to it, and I'm envious of the artists who kind of can jump into any. The next one, I think I want to dig into Houdini a little bit. But yeah. There's a lot of stuff out there. So much software. Yeah, Tor Frick, I've been following him for a while. His stuff is he just works so fast. I mean, like, I would love to be that fast with a mouse and keyboard. I don't know what it would take to get to that level, but man, I just watch his streams and it's just like, and you can tell, like, he does a lot of noodling the same way I would, like, you know, like, oh, I don't quite know what this is gonna look like yet, let me play around with it, you know. But man, is he able to kind of, you know, concept, like the main thing I want to get towards, which I'm not quite there yet as an artist, is concepting while modeling. You know, like solving problems on the fly while you're building your model. That's quite difficult to do, and it's something I've not quite nailed yet. A lot of times I get caught up and I'm doing too much modeling and the concept's not finished, or I'm getting so concept that, like, it just becomes a blob and it doesn't look like it's going to be a functional model and stick to the. So it just, you know, the ways that some of these artists out there can lock that stuff down is really, you know, blows my mind. Really impressive. Yeah, Tor Frick has a Twitch channel. He's not on it all that much, but when he does, it's like he'll just go for like 90 minutes to 3 hours, and he's just like ripping through polys, and it's like, it's so insane to watch. And his archive's all up there too, so like every now and then I'll just take a look at it. But without knowing Modo, I feel like I'm just wasting my time, because I'm just watching this guy who's professionally Modo rip through stuff, and I can't, like, I'm not learning anything, so I don't really watch a ton of it. But like every now and then he'll release it. He's got a YouTube channel as well, and he'll release like a workflow on there. Yeah, it just, yeah, it's just the way it flows out of that guy. It's just like, it's so fun to watch. Anyways, yeah, Life Reboot. This is the Pixelogic. Pixelogic is the software team behind ZBrush, which is the application I'm using right now. So no, we're not. And I say we. I'm not a member. I'm not officially a part of Pixelogic. I stream here. I stream ZBrush for Pixelogic on their channel. Anyway, thanks for stopping by today, guys. It's 3 o'clock, so I'm about wrapped up here. Did a little bit of environments in the beginning, but decided to switch over to character stuff because I wanted to do a little bit of work on this guy. I will be back next Thursday, and every Thursday this month, except for Halloween, every Thursday this month except for Thanksgiving. Something I designed is already live. Sure. Let me just save this guy because I don't want to lose him. Bust out some characters here. Well, first of all, let's go to my... So I did all the art for this game, Disc Jam. It's me and my partner Jay. It's our first game, so I did all the art for this basically. Characters. We had a couple character artists contract come in and help us out as well. Some of the characters, but it built all the environment props and the discs and like I said, they had one of my characters. 2 of these guys are on there, and then we're working on more characters right now. I have a few characters that are works in progress. Aren't live right now. And like, so here's like a custom skin we're doing for that other character I was just showing you. Ignore the bad material. This is from R7, so the material is not. The material indices came over crooked. But yeah, so that's one of our characters there. And you can see him running around in Disc Jam. He's one of these screenshots. That's him sliding right there. And this is gonna be like his new sort of like wrestler, you know, skin. That's a little bit a little more out there and cartoony. It's an arcade game, so we get kind of loose with, you know, the fiction and all that stuff there. Anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. Like I said, on Thursdays 12 to 3. Be sure to check out the other Pixelogic streamers. There's a lot of really talented artists on this channel, so drop a subscribe if you want to see some of the work people are doing, and I'll see you guys next Thursday.